Hello friends, welcome to this project and this practical. We are going to implement inter-AC roaming on a large scale WLAN. It's going to be a very short and interesting topic. So this is a situation where we have got our two ACs and two APs. So each AC is going to run independent AP. Like AC1 is going to run IP1 and AC2 is going to run AP2. So let's see our service requirement. So inter AC roaming on a large scale WLAN. So upon completion of this task, you will be able to implement inter-AC roaming, inter-AC layer 3 roaming by configuring mobility group, describe how to configure APs to go online, also know the basic WLAN configurations. Networking topology, this is the same with the previous topology that we implemented that was talking about cold backup configuration. The preceding figure shows the device connection mode. AP1 is managed by AC1 and AP2 is managed by AC2. All APs use the direct forwarding mode. Switch 4 transparently transmit packets from AP2 at layer 2. Switch 3 serves as the gateway for APs and STAs. Switch 3 is enabled with the DHCP server to allocate IP addresses to AP1, AP2, and STAs associated with them. APs obtain AC's addresses from option 43 in DHCP packets. So background, to meet the increasing STA access requirements, an enterprise needs to deploy batch of APs. As AC1 is managing APs of its maximum specifications, the enterprise purchases a new AC and AC2 to manage the newly deployed APs. In addition, inter-AC roaming is required to minimize the service interruption time when STAs move between the coverage areas of APs managed by different ACs. So this is our data planning. So like management VLAN, we have got VLAN 10 and 20. Service VLAN, we have got VLAN 11 and 21. And switch 3 function as the DHCP server to assign IP addresses to the STAs and the APs. Then the IP pool for STAs is 10.10.10, 10.0.10.0/24 and 10.0.20.0/24. The one for the STA you can see here. And also AC's source interface addresses are VLAN if 100 and VLAN if 200, where VLAN if 100 has IP address of 10.0.100.254 and VLAN if 200 has an IP address of 10.200.254. The reason why we are going to implement option 43 is because VLAN if 100 here and VLAN if 10 and 20, they are on different networks. So it's the option 43 that is going to help them communicate at different networks. And also we have got AP group here, AP group 1 for AP1 and AP group 2 for AP2. Department X is used as the regulatory, where X here is going to refer to the AP number. If it's AP1, it will be department 1. If it's AP2, it will be department 2. Country code, we are going to set China. Then SSID profile will be department 1 for AP1 and department 2 for AP2. Also security profile department 1 and SSID, also VAP profile with department 1. So this is the practical we are going to implement. It is very simple and I'm going to do it very fast. So we are going to implement it in sequence, in steps. The first step will be configuring layer 2, that is the port link step. Then the second step will be configuring layer 3, that is the configuring IP addresses to help communication between the AC and the switch, also between the ACs themselves. Also, the next thing we are going to configure is the WLAN, and after that you're going to configure mobility group. So we jump into our switch. We have got 4 interfaces connected to the switch. So the thing we are going to do here will be change that device name. So change device name to switch 2. Switch 1, I mean. So after that, we create the VLAN. So you have the VLAN badge 10, 11, 20, 21, 100, 200. After that, we enter the interfaces. We enter interface gig 0/0/1. These are a trunk port link type. Link type is a trunk. Then port trunk, you tell it to allow port trunk, you tell it to allow VLAN 100. Port trunk allow VLAN 100. So let me show you here. This is gig 1 here. It's allowing VLAN 100. Then gig 2 here is allowing VLAN 200. Gig 3 is allowing VLAN 20 and 21. And gig 4 is allowing VLAN 10 and 11. So we are going to gig 2. Gig 2 is also a trunk port, allowing VLAN 200 to pass. Then we go to gig 3. Gig 3 is a trunk port, allowing VLAN F20 and 21. Gig 4, the same is trunk port, and gig 4 is allowing pass VLAN 10 and 11. VLAN 10, 11. Save your configuration. Then go to this our forwarding switch. Do the same. Then the device name. So this is switch 2. Create the VLAN. This one is VLAN 20 and 21. Then enter interface gig 3. That's gig 3. This is a trunk port. Then tell it to allow pass VLAN 2030. Tell to allow pass VLAN 20 and 21. After that, we are going to configure gig 4. So gig 4 is also a trunk port. Gig 4 is also a trunk port, allowing VLAN 20 and 21 to pass. Then we configure the trunk port, allowing VLAN 20 and 21. Then we configure the PVID, so port trunk PVID. That's the default VLAN, so VLAN 20. Save. Come back to our switch 1 here. Also, we configure gig 4. Gig 4 also configure the default VLAN. Gig 0/0/4. So port trunk VLAN 10. Okay, that's nice. Now let's now go to this our SE1. Also configure the layer 2. So change the device name. This is SE1. Create a VLAN. So VLAN batch 100. Then enter the interface gig 0/0/1. Then this is our trunk port. Port link type trunk. The port trunk to allow pass VLAN 100. After that, we go to this our switch here, then the device name, so this is switch 2. After that, create the VLAN. After creating the VLAN, you configure it to allow fast VLAN. Sorry, this is no. Let's undo that. This side you add a VLAN if 200, not 100. Let's undo that. So yes. Now let's get VLAN if 200. VLAN if batch 200. For that, enter interface gig 0/0/2/1. Then port link type trunk, port trunk, allow pass VLAN 200. Wait. After that, so we are done with the layer 2 parameters. Now we are going to configure layer 3 now. So you enter to that interface, create the VLAN, quit interface VLAN if 100, give it IP address of 10.0.100.254/24. After that, quit, and also configure the CAPWAP source immediately. So CAPWAP source interface VLAN 100, quit, then save. Come to this device, configure layer 3, that is the quit and create VLAN if 100, interface VLAN if 100. I give it IP address of, sorry, not VLAN if 100, interface VLAN if 200. Give it IP address of 10.0.200.254/24. Also quit and create a CAPWAP. So CAPWAP source interface VLAN if 200. That will be running for running the AP2, and save. 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 And this was AC2. Save your config. Yes. It's like we only named our device in the wrong way, so let's rename our device. So this was SC2. Yes. Now also come here, I configure layer 3. So I said .1, everyone, we are going to have a network, but all the interfaces on that switch are going to be .1, so are going to act as the gateway. So interface VLAN if 10, give it IP address of 10.0.10.1/24, then 11, 10.11/24, then VLAN if 20, 10.0/20. Then VLAN if 21, the IP address will be 10.0.21.1, and VLAN if 100, IP address will be 100. Then VLAN if 200, we give you IP address of 10.0.200.1 to act as the gateway. So let's test something here. Okay. Now after that, let's save our config. The next thing we are going to do, we are going to configure route from AC to the network of the APs. Okay, so we come here and configure static route. So IP route static, our network will be 10.0.10.0, mask of 24. The next hop will be 10.0.100.1. Come here, do the same to this. Do the same to this. So IP route static, so our network will be 10.0.20.0, mask of 24. Next up will be 10.0.200.1. Okay. So after that, the next thing we are going to do now is going to configure the DHCP. So enable the DHCP. So DHCP configure, and based on it's a pool base, so DHCP enable. After enabling the DHCP, create the pool DHCP pool name, DHCP pool AP1. After that, we are going to create the gateway, gateway list. So it will be 10.0.10.1. Then the network of 10.0.10.0, mask of 24. Then I'm going to configure option 43 to enable the cap swap between the AC and the AP to work. So 43 sub option 3 ASCII. Then you give it the IP address of the cap swap, so will be 10.0 IP address of the VLAN if 100 on the AC, 100.254. Also create for AP2 pool 2. After that, pool 2 will be 20. Then on that, after that, give it the network. So network of 10.0.20.1. Service of the pool cannot be okay, sorry. So the thing we're going to do is configure. Let's check on something here before we do that. The subnet of the pool cannot overlap with that of the other pools. What did we configure for that other gateway? So okay. Gateway. Okay, it has already been configured. So after that, the network will be 10.20.0.20.0 mask of 24. Gateway option 43. So we're going to give it option 43, sub option 3, and also ASCII. Then give it the address of that AC, so .0.200.254. Wait, and enter the service IP service IP pool service. This time we give it service A, service underscore A. Then the gateway list will be 10.0.11.1. Okay. After that, what you give it is the DNS list. Network of 10.0.11.0 mask of 0, mask of 24. Also give it the DNS list of 10.0.11.1. Wait. Then enter pool for B, service B. So give it a gateway list of 10.0.21.1. Then network of 10.0.11.21, 21.0 mask of 24. So yes, great. Then you enable the DHCP on the interfaces. So enter interface WLAN and AP 10 DHCP, select global, interface gig 11, tell it to select global, then interface if 20 should also select global, then 21 to also select global. Then you save your configuration. After configuring the DHCP, our next step will now be configuring the WLAN. So I'm going to stop our AP here. We're going to stop our APs here and put down the IP addresses. So we copy the IP addresses, we add them to the group, and our AP should be in a normal state. So settings, copy the MAC address, okay, so make sure it's in a hexadecimal, a group of 4. Also come this side, copy the MAC address of that SAP, and put it in a group of 4. Group of 4. Then after that, start your APs. And then you go to your APs and configure the WLAN, including also the service parameters. So I hope you guys are enjoying the video. So let's get to our SC1 here. So in our SC1, enter the WLAN view. The WLAN view, the first thing we create always is to create the AP group. AP group, say name group 1. After that, you quit and you create a regulatory domain. Regulatory domain name, say LB, and then the country code to CM, China. Then you quit. Then you bind that regulatory domain to the group. Bind the regulatory domain into that group. Say yes. After that, you create and you create the you add AP off from offline. So AP authentication mode. So we use MAC authentication. Then AP MAC. Come and copy the MAC address. After that, AP name, AP1. Then add it to the AP group. AP group was group 1. Yes. And then let's play AP or AP's adult AP. Reset. Say yes. Successful count 1. Let's now display AP all. Yes. Let's display our AP. It's in an idle state, but it has found the AP, so means that in a few minutes it will be in a normal state. Let's just give it time. Okay, but as we give it time, let's continue with the configuration. Let's configure the WLAN service parameters. So we create the security profile name, ZDPAT 1. So that we give it the security. We said we use WPA2. PSK passphrase, then you use Huawei 123 American encryption standard. After that, you quit and you create the SSID name. You want to also use depart 1, I mean, not 2. Then the SSID name, I told to use ROM. Quit and create the VAP profile name. Use the same name. Then you add the forwarding mode, so forwarding mode to the VAP direct forward. Then also we have got the service VLAN. VLAN ID of 11. Then you add the security profile to the VAP profile. Also you add the SSID profile to the VAP profile. After that, then you quit. Then you enter the a group view. So AP group view. So AP name group 1. In group 1, you add the VAP into that group. So you bind the VAP into the AP group. So VAP depart 1, then WLAN 1 radio, WLAN 1 radio 0. After that, I enter radio 2. I've seen our first circle has come up, so radio 1, and the second circle should also be up. After that, save your configuration, say yes, and let's now display our AP. Display AP all. See, our IP has now obtained an IP address and it is in a normal state. Group 1. Okay, now let's go to AC2 to configure for AP2. So say enter WLAN. So into WLAN, I create the AP group. AP group, this time is a name, we give it group 2. AP group 2. After giving the AP group 2, you quit and you create the regulatory domain. Regulatory domain name, you give it LB. After that, you give it a country code to country code CN. Then you quit and you bind the regulatory domain into the AP group. Regulatory domain, and bind it to the AP group. Say yes. After that, you quit and you import APs from offline. So IP authentication mode, MAC authentication, then AP MAC. Come and copy the MAC address of that AP. Copy the MAC address. So after that, you give the AP name. So this is AP2. Then you add it to the group. AP group is AP group 2. Group 2. So yes. Then display AP all. See, so the false state means that it is still negotiating with the DHCP server and obtaining IP address. As it is doing that, let's continue with the configuration. So security, first let's quit and leave that interview. So security, security profile name, give it the part 2 now, and security WPA2 PSK passphrase Huawei 123 American encryption standard. After that, you quit and you create the SSID, the name that will appear on your file, SSID name. Then the part 2, SSID of ROM. Quit and you create the VAP profile. So VAP profile name, the part 2. After that, you create the forwarding mode. So forward mode, direct forward. Then after that, you enter the service VLAN ID 21. After that, you run the security 2, then the SSID 2. After that, you quit and you enter the group view. So AP group name group 2. In group 2, you're going to give it the you bind that VAP into that AP group. So VAP profile, so the part 2 WLAN 1 radio 0, and enter radio 1. Radio 1, and the second circle is up. Now quit and let's display our AP. So display AP all. Our AP has now put an IP address of 10.0.20.254, and it is in a normal state. So let's save our configuration. So as you can see here, we've configured AC1 to run AP1 and AC2 to run AP2. The thing is, now we are going to configure roaming now, layer 3 roaming. Now we come here, configure route to this network. Also we configure route from this AC to this network. So let's start from this side. So I'm going to configure static route to AC2. So we are implementing inter AC roaming. So we configure route to AC2. So IP route static. IP route static. The network I'm going configuring is 10.0.200.0. Mask of 24, but our gateway will be now be 10.0.100.1. Then we come to this this AC here. Now we are going to configure route to AC1. Now IP route static. IP route static. It will be 10.0.100.0/24. Our next hop will be 10.0.200.1. So while you are on this AC, you should now be able to ping AC1 to check connectivity. So let's try that. So ping 10.0.100.1. 100.254. There's connectivity because we've configured the route to that network. So let's save. So yes, and also come to this our switch, and also these are the AC, and also save. So yes, and now let's try and connect our PC and see if you can obtain an IP address. We can see the SSID name of ROM. Now configure, give it the authentication. It's connected. Let's also connect this other guy. Okay. And let's check the IP address it has obtained. That obtained .53. Let's also configure these other guys on this other side. Let's give it the IP address. And see the IP address it has obtained from the DHCP server ipconfig. So it has obtained IP address of 10.21.0.21 /20 /.253 as a /24. So now let's see if you can ping or better, so ping 10.0 better 100.254. Doesn't know about that network because we not configure a route to that network. So that's it, guys. And now what we are going to do is the last step is now the last step we are going to configure now will be configuring inter-AC roaming. So we come to this our AC here. So enter the WLAN view. So configure the mobility group. So mobility group name, we name it mobility. So then we add members. So member IP address, I'm going to give it the two IP address for the AC. So the .0.100.254. Another member IP will be IP address will be 10.0.200.254. Also save. Say yes, and come to this other guy also. You save. You configure also the member. So also configure the member mobility group name mobility. Then you add the member IPs. So member IP of 10.0.100.254. Another member IP of 10.0.200.254. So I think we are done with that. Let's save our configuration. Also save our main topology. Let's display so we want to display let's display we want to display the STA here. So what we come and do, we copy the MAC address, copy that MAC address, make sure it is in a group of 4. Control C. Then you come to this and display SPROM track. Then you copy that track, then STA MAC, and you copy that MAC address, and it's able to display that the IP address of that STA and also the time that STA is connected. So that is it all about that, guys. So what we were implementing was inter-AC roaming, so that in case either one of these STAs want to roam into that other network, there should not be any service interruption. If it comes to this other AP, you see the connection, should be able still be able to access the internet. So when these guys also roam to this other AP, they should be able to still connect to that. So that's what we called inter-AC roaming. So that's the practical we wanted to implement. So inter-AC roaming, the main thing is to add what is called mobility group, create a mobility group. So that's actually how we implement inter-AC roaming. So that's the practical that you are doing today. And as we proceed, make sure you must you practice, you watch, then you go and practice and see if it's also work on your side. Maybe it works on my side. Also try on your side and see if it works. If you have any problem, feel free to contact me through the comment section. Where you got stuck, I can be able to help you. So thank you for watching this video.